We are recording, and now let's record the audio. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 801. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Thank you very much for downloading and subscribing to the show. Please visit the main website at miketechshow.com. You can email me questions and suggestions for show topics at miketechshow@gmail.com. Please visit my YouTube page for all the videos. It's at youtube.com/Michael Smith MTS. All one word, MICHAEL SMITH MTS. This show is brought to you by Instant House Call, robust remote support for IT pros and MSPs. They provide unattended and on-demand remote access. Try it free by clicking on the link on the left-hand side of my website at miketechshow.com. Use the promo code MikeTechShow for your free 15-day trial, and you can also just go directly to instanthousecall.com. The show is also brought to you by Magnus Box. They are now Magnus Box is your ultimate online backup service that you can resell. They are launching a new data center in Las Vegas. They're almost finished building it out. It should be ready to go before the end of this month. They've revamped their free trial. Go to magnusbox.com, sign up for the trial, and you're going to have the same access as all their partners. And you can experience everything. They're HIPAA compliant. Every employee goes through HIPAA training. And for listening to the podcast, for just being a Mike Tech Show listener, if you sign up, your first 3 months, the platform fee is half price. It's 50% off for those first 3 months. You got to do it. I have 65 client devices running on Magnus Box for backups. I would not talk about it, nor would I recommend it if they were not a reliable and honest service with great tech support. Magnusbox.com. Give it a try. All right. Tonight's show, I have lots to talk about. A stack of listener email. Going to go through that, answer every question. Then, how to secure your home Wi-Fi network and router. Some great tips here that you may know, most of you may know, but now I have it organized and in a nice list that you can make a nice checklist from this. The next show, no show next Thursday, because I will be attending the ASCII Summit in Orlando, and I will be connecting up with Marvin B. and looking forward to that. I'm leaving Tuesday, staying Tuesday night and Wednesday night. The summit is Wednesday and Thursday. I'll report back because the show next week, it's just going to be Saturday. So October 30th, Saturday, 2 p.m. will be the next show. And I'll discuss some of what I saw and learned at the ASCII Summit. And I have lots of other things to talk about, so it's going to be great. This is a little different. We're going to go right into email. And this first question is from Eddie. I have transferred, I hope you're doing well. I'm a long-time listener and will take your advice on my scenario below. I have transferred everything from an old PC to a new using Fab's Auto Backup. The system has a Synology NAS connected and does backups. The new PC cannot see the NAS anymore, which I suspect may be broken path. This is my first time with Synology NAS, and I'm very curious not to lose any of the backups trying to reconnect and updating the backups. I know you have spoken about Synology NASs a number of times. Kindly explain how you will reconnect an existing Synology NAS that's new. Okay, so before the show, connect it to my Synology back in Pennsylvania. And I access it through OpenVPN, which is going to be another question coming up. Log into the administration panel of your NAS, and hopefully you can navigate to that and be able to open it up. Go to Control Panel. Then in Control Panel, you'll see under the file sharing section, there are file services. Go in there and make sure SMB is connected. That is how you're going to connect. Also, what's the work group that the default name is work group. So if you've made no changes, type in work group in there and then make sure at the bottom to click apply. But there's one other thing, and this may not be checked. At the very bottom of this screen, there's WS Discovery. Local network devices can use Windows Network Discovery to access files on your disk station. Check the box. Enable Windows Network Discovery to allow file access via SMB. Someone who's paying close attention to what I'm talking about is one of our moderators, Michael Cooley, who's going to be down here with me in a couple weeks, and he's bringing his Synology, and this is on my list of things that have to be checked and taken care of first. So very, very important. Now there's another one I want you to go to, and that's in networking. Oh, excuse me. There is under SMB, there's advanced settings. Go in there and make sure that the maximum SMB protocol is SMB2. You can also make the minimum SMB2 because SMB1's not secure. Make sure SMB2. Also, make sure SMB2 is enabled on Windows. How do we do that? Go to Control Panel, and I am checking that right now. Go to Control Panel and then Programs and Features. Then turn Windows features on or off. That's on your left-hand side. Click on that. Scroll down to SMB and make sure that SMB2, that SMB Direct is checked. SMB2, I think, is natively built in. If you do run into problems, check. You can always go back and put SMB1 in there. But what you want to do is first, I always turn off the firewall, turn off everything on your Windows, and yes, it's going to be less secure, but I want to see that you can map. Make sure that you're mapping as a user that is an admin user on the Synology, and make sure you're mapping with the username and password. Make sure that the network settings on Windows is not public, that it's private. So these are a whole bunch of little things that I hope helps you be able to diagnose what's going on, Eddie. And let me know. Write me back. Let me know if these things helped. Okay. This is from Red. And Mike, I have a Dell laptop that is about 6 years old, and I'm having an issue with programs crashing, Firefox, Word, and Discord. I suspect it is better to replace this laptop. I am studying and planning for a career change. I'm in my 50s, and it's going to be into cybersecurity. Man, good luck with that. And I'm, put the work in, learn as much as you can, and good luck with the career change. What would you recommend as specs for a new laptop? For me, its minimum processor is 8th or 9th generation, at least a Core i5. If you can afford a Core i7 or Core i9, great. But my minimum specs are 8 or 9 generation Core i5, 16 gigs of RAM now. Used to be 8 gigs of RAM. It's now 16 gigs of RAM. and a solid state drive that's 512 gig. To me, that's a minimum configuration. And I wrote that back, and thanks for reaching out, Red, and hope good luck with the new laptop. This is from Chris, and it's VPN is the subject. On the last show, there was a mention of using a VPN. I wanted to share what I have been doing lately. I manage the server, computers, and network for my church. We have a mixture of Macs and PCs. We had an urgent need to manage an iMac remotely when COVID started. I set up VNC on the iMac and exposed it to the internet. I was very uncomfortable with this. Yes, you should have been uncomfortable. A few weeks later, on the Linux Unplugged podcast, they shared about a new company, Tailscale, that is offering a VPN service built on WireGuard. And WireGuard is reliable. You can set up a free account and use a Gmail account to authenticate. So I now have Tailscale installed on the iMac, Windows Server, and a computer at my house. I can now connect directly to the iMac with VNC across the VPN and RDP to the server. I like this because now I don't have any ports exposed to the internet. Also, other staff that needs access can use the same shared Gmail account to install Tailscale as well to get remote access. I am using their free account. They have other levels that are paid accounts. You may have already heard of it and talked about it. I have not, and just wanted to share. It's at tailscale.com. That will be in the show notes. Now, something I do when I want to remote in, I have 3 ways to remote into my system up in Pennsylvania while I'm here in Florida. Of course, instant house call. I use that a lot. I also have the built-in remote access from the RMM that we use for Synchro. Then, because I have OpenVPN set up on my Synology NAS, which you can set up for free, then I have that VPN connection, and then I just use RDP to go across the VPN connection and do the remote access. So I have 3 ways, and the reason I have so many ways is I have to make sure internet's up. But one time the Synology wasn't on, and so no VPN. So of course, logged in via instant house call. Important systems that you need access, you should have multiple ways to remote in. That's just goes without saying if it's critical. And I do the reverse down here, except I don't have a VPN to my network down here because I don't have a Synology NAS or anything set up. And it's not as important to have the VPN to the system in Florida when I'm in Pennsylvania. It's more important for me to be able to get to Pennsylvania with the VPN. So let's keep going with emails. This next one is a link for Krebs on security, and I know I'm late to the game on talking about this, but with the Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp outage, this was a BGP update, and it's a good article on what could have been going wrong with Facebook and what was happening. And there's a lot of updates that were being tracked. The website will be in the show notes, and I'll have a link to it. Rather than read it all, you could read it. And I just wanted to make sure that I'm addressing this. I didn't forget about it. There were so many other things, and then, missed a show because of vacation, which had actually happened when I was on vacation. That's why this was not addressed. So take a look at that article if you're interested. Emails, I got 2 here from Bill. Hi, Mike. This is a follow-up to my previous email. Oops, let's go to the previous email. Tips. Okay, you know what? Let's start here. if you have 10 or more computers ordered, you can send Dell an image and they will put it on all of them for you. No need for you to do it. That's a great idea. During 2022, I have a company that's going to be getting a brand new office. It's going to be a dental office. And I am going to have to order 30 computers. So that's going to work out really, really well. I will get one, build the image, and then upload it. So that's going to save a lot of time. If you have them, if they're in the same domain, you can push software out to them with a group policy. I absolutely will. You can also set a local admin user with the group policy. Now he continues, Acrobat Reader is bloated. I have deployed hundreds of Foxit Reader with Ninite, and I think I got one complaint. It is much lighter and faster and easier to convert to plain text in it. That depends on how the PDF was made. Now, I'm going to pause there for a second. I have a lot of clients that they have no choice. It has to be Adobe Reader. I have a bunch of clients that they have to have the full Adobe Acrobat Pro DC. So we deploy Adobe because it is the most common. It's the you can't go wrong, and I've never worried about it being too bloated. I'm worried about like Foxit Reader and some of these other ones that sometimes pop other things in. And anyway, it's your choice. I know Foxit Reader. I've actually put it on some servers where I need to open up a PDF. He continues, I have deployed Nitro Pro to a lot of users who like it better than full Acrobat. After using it for a week, I had a 30-day trial. Well, very interesting with the full Adobe Acrobat. Even Nitro Pro, I've had clients that tried that. It does not do every single thing that the full Acrobat does. So keep that in mind. It may do enough that satisfies what you need, and then it's worth certainly paying less money and getting Nitro Pro. He continues, I also deploy Malwarebytes with Ninite, so do we. And then just set it not to start with Windows. I think it is okay for a secondary scanner. I like Sophos. If you have the AV and an XG firewall, which we use for larger clients, they integrate. The firewall also syncs with AD so that all of your users and passwords are there for VPN use. That's cool. Oh, you need to remove the phone number from your contact page. I have not done that. So, great show. It's the #1 tech podcast in my listening list. The first computers I worked on were Atari 800s. That is so cool. My first real computer was the TI-99 4A. Love that. Love that. I do have to get rid of that phone number. And Bill reached out to me this week. And please email me if you notice anything wrong with the website. Well, Matt Rodella, I was talking about, helped me tremendously get everything squared away and fixed. He also beat up GoDaddy so they would move my hosting to a newer server. Well, they did that this week. But guess what happened? The files that I uploaded last Thursday weren't moved. Those 3 files, the 2 PDFs and the RSS feed, the main one, I had to re-upload. And it was because of Bill getting a 404 error when he tried to get to one of the files. He let me know. I saw immediately what happened because I was notified that morning that the backup had the transfer to the new server finished. So again, thank you, Bill. He has another follow-up email. This is a follow-up to my previous email. Programs I add. Crystal Disk Info. Now, we run Crystal Disk Info only when there's a problem. I never run it. I never just install it on every system. Shut Up 10. I have to look at that. trying out Share X. You should take a look at that. I will. CCleaner. Like this for controlling startup programs and services, as well as registry and junk cleaning. Again, we use CCleaner Portable, but then we get rid of it when we need to. Patch My PC. Absolutely love that. Use it all the time. Faststone Image Viewer. uBlock Origin extension. That's a great one. I agree. And he likes LastPass over the one you use. I use RoboForm. I love it, love it, love it. And he forgot the name. So that's very cool. He has a tip here of a website that I am going to include in the show notes. It is for looking up the best prices for flights. And it's Google's travel flights link. So go to google.com/travel/flights. That's awesome. Bill, thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate it. Okay, this is from Tim, and we share the last name, Smith. I have listened to your podcast for quite a while now and watched a lot of the Tech Vets shows as well. I live up in Bethlehem, PA, which isn't too far from Philly. No, it's not. My question is actually an issue my sister is having with a work laptop, Windows 10 Pro, for remote work. When she is trying to shut down or log off for the day, the laptop will give her a message saying, please wait for the system event notification service. I was able to pinpoint it to either OneDrive or a VPN her work makes her use. I told her to enable updates for other Microsoft products and settings and to manually close down OneDrive and the VPN before she is done. I agree 100% with that. With the PC and would shut down or restart. That seems to have fixed the issue for today. Yes, there's a service running that it probably couldn't talk to on the VPN. But I figured I would send you an email on it and see if you have ever experienced this before. Yes. And what I have done is diagnostic logging on the shutdown or the restart to see what programs are hanging. And then when you see that, now you know which ones you got to shut down. But it's always a good thing before you shut down, before you restart, close everything to keep it clean. So you did the right thing. And he just wanted to see if I experienced this and if there's anything to add. I have nothing to add. Tim, you nailed it. And that's how you fix it. The other problem, but you're going to get a different message. If you can't shut down cleanly, that's usually a driver issue. So what I would do is go through and update all the drivers for all the different components and devices on the computer. Make sure, latest, greatest video driver. Just go through. Make sure hard drive firmware, go through everything. That's another common culprit of shutting down. Not shutting down properly. The last email before we get on to the next topic, and this is Andrew, and he starts out apologizing. Never apologize for any question you're ever going to ask. Sorry for this rookie question, but what is the difference between migrating data with Samsung Magician or Acronis versus Fab's Auto Backup? Is it just Fab's moves what I want it to for a cleaner install? It depends what you're doing. The Samsung Magician is more for duplicating and cloning, and I believe it's the Samsung software you're talking about that comes with the SSDs. That software is to clone Samsung solid-state drives. And depending on which one you're going from and to, I've seen Samsung Magician work better than Acronis. Acronis, they've gotten bloated. They're trying to do everything. But one of the biggest things they do is cloning a drive from one drive to another. That's getting everything. Fabs does not clone. Fabs just moves certain program settings and all data. So let's say your email. It'll copy all the settings. It'll copy the PSTs, the OST, everything that's related to email. It'll copy all your browsers, all that history, the passwords for the browsers. Fabs, which you hear me talk about a lot. I love the program, and it does a tremendous job of moving settings and software. And there's Fabs Auto Backup 7 Pro is incredible, and the link is always in the show notes, and I recommend buying that, but it is not for doing an image where that's a complete bit for bit duplication of a drive. That's what the image software does, like a Cronus and Samsung Magician. Fabs does not do that. It's a very different product. So you usually, there's no versus there. I would say it's Samsung versus a Cronus. If you're working with just Samsung drives, stick with the Samsung program. If you want a little more, then look into a Cronus. They're trying to do antivirus, backups. I think a Cronus is getting too bloated for their own good. And we've seen programs that have stretched beyond what they were originally made for and try to do too much. A Cronus is certainly getting there. Okay. Topic for something I wanted to cover, and this is from October's PC World, which I love this article. It's how to secure your home Wi-Fi, network, and router. I'm going to just make this like a list and go through everything. And if you're taking notes when you hear this or play it back again, then what I want you to do is just consider all these things when you're locking down Wi-Fi and protecting the network. First, change your passwords. Change the admin password that it comes with, or better yet, and this I really like, create a new admin account with a different name and provide a complicated password. That we're starting to see, it's more common now for servers and for devices. Everybody knows there's an admin account. Well, you know what would be nice? If that admin account was deactivated because you created one with a name nobody could guess. That's the ultimate way. Enable encryption on your Wi-Fi. Make sure you choose WPA2 for the best security. If you have a choice between TKIP and AES, pick AES because it's the stronger of the two. Change your SSID. That is your service set identifier. That's the name that you see when you're browsing for Wi-Fi networks. You may want to even hide it. And then that means someone would have to know the name of the SSID in order to connect. Turn off remote access to the router. Some routers allow you to access the administrator account from outside your home network. Turn that off. Don't allow that. Disable Wi-Fi protected setup. That's WPS. Don't use it. Disable it. Keep your router's firmware updated all the time. Here's another one. Disable UPnP. That feature bypasses firewall protection. Get rid of it. Set up a guest network for smart home devices. I love this. If you have the ability to have multiple networks or multiple guest networks, set up a guest network for your robot that cleans the floor, your my sleep number bed, trying to think of all the things, my thermostat, my smart home thermostat. Have that on a separate network, so if anything gets hacked on that, it's never going to touch your main network. Out of all the things I read here and all the things I've thought about here, that is one that most people don't think of. That I think that's a great idea, to have a guest smart device network and keep that disabled from guests that come into the house and also your main network. Disable Wi-Fi access to your router's admin account. Oh, another one. Dave put Ring doorbell. Absolutely. I have a Ring doorbell. Any smart devices. Maybe your Alexa. Because she's still on at my desk here, so I can't say the name. Enable Mac filtering. Now, I got to admit, that's a little more difficult, and I don't sit and get the MAC address for each of the devices, but that's another great way. Now, people can spoof MAC addresses, but that takes a lot of work. That's very, very hard. So keep all these in mind. Change your passwords, enable encryption, change the SID, turn off remote access, disable Wi-Fi protected setup, update the firmware, disable UPnP, set up guest networks, disable Wi-Fi access to your router's admin account, enable Mac filtering. That's simple. A great, concise list of things that you can do to protect not just your network, family's network, friends, your clients. And of course, you can add and subtract from this, but I think it's a good start for the list. And that's what you need to be able to, as we do battle for security and keep just locking everything down. If it's the holidays are coming up, because of shipping and the just being able to obtain, there's a delay in getting things. Start your shopping early and use Amazon, and please use my new Amazon link. Beginning in August, I changed the link. You're helping support Mike Smith and the Mike Tech Show. Please use the Amazon link. And if you had a previous link before, update it with the new link. That's a nice, easy shortcut. If you scroll down on the left-hand side of my website, you'll see a big banner under the sponsors. Also, there's an Amazon link in the show notes of every single show. Bookmark that and save it. When you buy something, your price stays the same, but a small commission, after you've added it to the cart and buy it, comes back to support me in the show. It is a wonderful way to show your support. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And then, of course, our sponsors, Instant House Call, Magnus Box. Go forth and use them. You know I only talk about or recommend products that I use and that I support and love. And that's what I talk about. And that's why you hear them all the time. Instant House Call, Magnus Box, Amazon, and Fabs. Cannot go wrong with all of them. That is it. Remember, next week, next Thursday, no show. The next show is October 30th. It's a Saturday at 2 p.m. Please join me right here on Twitch. And I'll see everybody on the 30th. Thank you. Bye-bye.